So the dream team for the semi-finals of Super Rugby 2018. Only 4 games or 4 teams to choose from 2 games. So it's not been too difficult actually, because despite there only being the 2 games, there were some pretty outstanding performances in most positions. I'll go through the guys I've picked. You guys can let me know your thoughts. Who you think's probably a bit lucky to be in, who's unlikely to be out, and whatnot. And yeah, we'll see how we go. First one, and there are a couple of guys in here who are in here for kind of that one moment of brilliance. And for Tom Robertson from the Waratahs, I've got the Waratahs gear on today because it's my last chance to wear it for the season. But yeah, Tom Robertson, 1 try. And it was magic. It was a line-out set play. Kudos to whoever came up with that move. It worked a treat. He got a clean break. I mean, in terms of his stats, he had 5 passes, 8 runs, 17 meters, 1 clean break, which was his try from that little line-out move. 2 defenders beaten, made 6 from 6 tackles. So, like, overall, a decent game. He was penalised twice. The scrum was under loads of pressure. But that try was just sheer magic. And in terms of the game, it came at a key time to get the Waratahs back in contention, because they had been in the lead and they'd fallen behind. So it was kind of that, just before half-time, let's go into the sheds on a high moment. It didn't end up working for them, but it could have. So in terms of that game, it was pretty important. Next, I've gone with Joe Moody. He probably benefits a bit from the fact that he's a prop for a very strong Crusaders scrum, but this scrum was just strong all day long. It probably wasn't Moody's best performance. Like, I've seen him play better than that, but I mean, his numbers are still solid. He's got 7 runs for 7 meters, which is, as for a prop, it's about what you would predict they would run, not like Tom Robertson, who got a clean break. He made 6 from 6 tackles, which is always good when your props aren't being beaten by those quick backs. And he wasn't penalised at all. A lot of the props this week were guilty of giving away quite a few penalties, but like Robertson gave away 2. But yeah, none for Joe Moody. So credit to him there. That Crusader scrum is very good. So he benefits from that this week. Next, there was never going to be anyone else, was there? I mean, it's Malcolm Marx. He got 2 tries, he passed the ball once, ran it 5 times, including another intercept. The guy has added intercepts to his repertoire. That's 2 weeks where he's picked up an intercept, so didn't get a try from it this time, but still, as if the guy doesn't have enough skills. 36 meters on that, on those 5 runs, 1 clean break, which would have been the intercept. 2 defenders beaten, made 7 out of 10 tackles, and his turnovers were just there once again. I feel like if the Lions are going to have a chance against the Crusaders next week, he's going to need to be putting in a shift. I mean, he always does, but he'll need to be on his game, because the Lions really look better when he is playing. Next, in the locks, Michael Fadialofa. He gets in the team semi-regularly with some seemingly consistent stats. So he had 2 passes, 7 runs for 7 meters, which is still not that great. Like, his ball carrying is definitely not the best. Someone needs to tell him that he's 2 meters tall and apparently 115 kilos, because that's a fair bit of weight to throw around. But he doesn't seem to. I mean, I guess sometimes locks are built in that way that it's hard for them to kind of get low enough to really to get some go forward ball. But I'm sure he could throw his weight around a bit better than he does. But still, he got 2 line-out wins, which was first equal for the Hurricanes, believe it or not, and made 15 out of 16 tackles in a team which was under the pump for a while. It's kind of a consistent thing for him, and in recent weeks his tackling has been impressive. So yeah, put him in there for that. And a kind of similar guy is Franco Mostert from the Lions. He was denied a try. He would have been in for a try. He ran a good line from some attacking play, but there was deemed to be a knock-on in the lead-up, so no fault of his, but he was denied. But still, he had 2 passes, 10 runs, 11 meters. So another guy, 10 runs, 11 meters for him, 7 runs, 7 meters for Fadialofa. I mean, this guy's about 2 meters and 112 kilos as well, so he probably could throw his weight around a bit more, but that's not his game. 15 attempted tackles, made 13, so that's pretty good stats. He's always up there with his tackling. 7 line-out wins. The guy's line-out performing is just is very top class, and given the Lions' game plan is often to go to that maul, it requires a few good things. One is a good kick for touch from Elton Yankees, and he's usually pretty good at providing that. Then they've got to win the line-out ball, provided Marks gets his throw in and somebody takes it. So they're all kind of key components to what they do. If Mostert's not winning that ball in the air, they're not able to set that driving maul. So he wins it more often than not, which is a really key part to how they play. Right, into the loose forwards. There was never going to be any doubt that Quacker Smith would make it. He had 2 tries. Kind of back to some of his sevens magic. Like, he just saw some space and just beat defenders. I mean, in terms of his stats, 3 passes, 11 runs, 109 meters, 3 clean breaks, 10 defenders beaten, 9 from 11 tackles, and was there for the turnovers as well. So, yeah, his ability to really just identify when to run the ball in that game was key, and his ability to beat a man was also very important. So he'll have every reason to want to put in a good shift against the Crusaders next week. We'll see if he can get it done. Next, Ned Hannigan from the Waratahs. I'll be honest, I'm not his biggest fan. I've always thought he's a bit soft. But he kind of shut me up in this game because he had 1 try assist, 2 passes, 3 runs for 23 meters. 3 runs is not a heck of a lot, but 23 meters for those 3 runs is alright. Well, some of that would have been in his try. 1 clean break, 11 from 11 tackles, and a line-out win. So he may be able to slowly kind of change my opinion on him. But yeah, if he keeps putting in shifts like that, I won't have a choice. But yeah, I won't get to see him unless he's playing in the Rugby Championship for a while, I would imagine. Next, this guy's a machine. I've gone with Matt Todd. This guy's in really stellar form at the right time of year. I hope the All Blacks selectors are seriously giving him some consideration because he always seems to be down their list of loose forwards. But 1 pass, 4 runs, 24 meters, beat a defender, 21 out of 21 tackles, along with all that pressure he puts on at the breakdown. 21 from 21. The guy is just... I don't know how he does it and doesn't get more credit, but he is a machine, like I said. And yeah, the Crusaders are very fortunate that he's remained loyal because I'm sure he's had many offers to go overseas, but he is still around. Next, Bryn Hall from the Crusaders had 3 try assists, which speaks volumes to his game. 69 passes and 6 runs, so a decent balance of passing and running. Only 2 meters apparently for 6 runs, according to ESPN. So apparently his running game wasn't quite on song in that game against the Canes, but his playmaking certainly was with 3 try assists. 2 out of 3 tackles. And it was just interesting that in a game where he was kind of up against a more fancied number 9 and TJ Perenara, kind of an regular All Black, yeah, he certainly put on a better show. I mean, it's always depends on the forwards you got in front of you, but he was certainly, he wasn't shying away from that job, and he put in a good shift. Similar situation with Richie Mo'unga. So he's up against Beauden Barrett, a more fancied All Black number 10. But Mo'unga, I mean, he stole that show. Again, you got to kind of put it into the context of the team they're playing behind. But 1 try assist, 23 passes and 15 runs. That's a really interesting... Like, that's a lot of runs for passes. Like, you'd think most fly halves are going to distribute a bit more than that, but he was really testing the line with 15 runs, 55 meters, 2 clean breaks, 11 defenders beaten. I mean, he has got that gas to run it when he wants to. 2 from 3 tackles. It's not the first time he's kind of overshadowed Beauden Barrett, but I think in terms of All Blacks selection, it will take many more efforts like this before he's able to really knock on that door. Right now, it's probably more about him and Damien McKenzie for that backup spot. Next, in the midfield, I've gone with Kurtley Beale. His numbers don't actually ring that great. 25 passes, 7 runs, 52 meters, 2 clean breaks, 2 defenders beaten, 8 from 10 tackles. 8 from 10 tackles is improved. Like last week, I think he missed 7. So from Tony, missed 20% of his tackles is not too bad this week. He did, though, especially at the start of the game when the Waratahs were cutting the Lions to bits, he was kind of setting things up, finding space, running support lines, doing all that kind of stuff, which would be like a second assist. If you were the man that passed the ball to the man that ended up getting the assist, Kurtley Beale would be getting kind of a second assist like they do in ice hockey. So 2 guys get credited for a goal assist. It would have been similar for Kurtley in this one. Obviously, once the game went on, the Lions started to dominate. His opportunities were kind of fewer, but especially at the start of the game, he was really running that show and putting the Waratahs on the right track, even if it didn't get the right result for them. Next, Jack Goodhue. I could have gone with him or Crotty. Both the Crusaders midfielders had a good effort. 6 passes, 6 runs, 57 meters. Solid. 2 clean breaks, 4 defenders beaten, 3 offloads. So his ability to hold that ball up with his size, when he's being tackled, is still able to find the man. It really just helps the team find more space. 12 from 13 tackles, so his defense was there again. Very big effort from him. Next week's matchup is going to be interesting because I think Forster from the Lions did miss a few tackles. So, if Goodhue's making all his and he's able to kind of get his pass away, that will cause some problems. But I'm sure the Lions will be analysing the tape kind of as we speak. In the outside backs, I've gone with Apiwa Dianti from the Lions. Again, similar to Robertson. Like, he's got good numbers, but a lot of it is just down to that one moment of magic. So he got 1 pass, 5 runs, 84 meters, 2 clean breaks, 1 defenders beaten, 3 defenders beaten, 1 from 1 tackles. But that try, it was something from nothing. It was the ultimate kind of solo effort. He just had the ball, he just ran it, chipped it, collected it, kept running. Words don't do it justice, man. If you haven't seen the highlights, go watch it. It was a thing of beauty. He went off pretty early, so we'll see if his fitness kind of is a question going into the final. But man, the guy's a special player, and he's able to just do that from time to time, just unleash that kind of magic play. But yeah, 1 from 1 tackle is a little bit interesting. He didn't have any missed tackles, but he needed to make 1. So that's I'm not sure whether that's encouraging or concerning, whether he should be getting himself into a position to make more tackles. Anyway, next, Julian Savia from the Hurricanes. He had a try. It was a TMO awarded try. 5 passes, 1 offload, 8 runs, 42 meters, 1 clean break, 4 defenders beaten, made 8 from 9 tackles. So they're both wingers. One made 1 from 1, one made 8 from 9. So I know sometimes the tackles don't come your way, but it's just a curious stat. Savia was one of the kind of few bright spots in that Hurricanes team. Like, it's an interesting one because I feel like for the Hurricanes, for much of the season, the Hurricanes as a team have looked so good, and Savia has kind of looked off the pace. He's been outshadowed by Ben Lamb. He's been looking a bit slow and just not able to get into try-scoring areas. Like, I think he only had 1 try only maybe a month ago. So yeah, it was interesting that when the team looked kind of flat, he actually looked kind of fired up. So it was an interesting contrast. But it was a good effort from him. Shame he goes out with a loss as one of kind of the Hurricanes legends, but he tried his best, and good luck to him going forward. Lastly, Israel Folau from the Waratahs. The guy is consistently good. 1 try, 8 passes, 11 runs, 42 meters, 2 clean breaks, 8 defenders beaten, 2 from 2 tackles. Often the fullbacks seem to have less tackles to make than the wingers. But he ghosted in for a try, as he kind of does. He's not that quick. Like, he's been run down a few times, but the way he just runs those lines just seems to bamboozle people. He's a magic player. His aerial threat wasn't able to kind of get the same pay we know it kind of has done in the past, but still, it was a big effort from him, and that is the team. So you guys let me know your thoughts. There are a few interesting ones there. Definitely some guys who missed out who could have been, shots for the team. I don't think you can argue with Malcolm Marx. He's pretty much a shoo-in. I think Mo'unga was probably the best of the best at 10. But you guys let me know your thoughts, and I will talk to you again soon. See you later.